Hello again and welcome now to build update number 2 for this TAMIYA's Churchill Crocodile in part 1, if you do remember. I remember anyway. We got it made. Okay, there's the tank and here is the fuel liquid flammable type stuff, sticky flammable stuff, almost like napalm, probably the forerunner to napalm. I even think that sort of is practically the same stuff that napalm is because of the stickiness. Anyway, there's a little Bowser, okay, trailer that is it's all made up as well. So anyway, now we're going to get it painted. We're going to start off. I'm going to give it an overall coat. I'm going to take it apart first, obviously. I'm going to take the turret off, have that separate, the upper deck, because I want to paint the track separately, and it's quite easy to kind of pop together and things like that. And I want to paint it, like I said, it's easier to paint it in sections than it is trying to paint the whole lot together. So I'm going to break it down, and I'm going to give it an overall coating first of NATO black. That's my kind of go-to primer and shadow coat, the whole lot, all in one. Okay, once I've got that done, then I'm going to give it the little highlight spots with white, highlighting various panels in it. Some of it will be sprayed, some of it will be painted or hand painted, because especially here now, if you look at all these little sections here, it's just as easy to hand paint these in rather than trying to get in there with an airbrush. I'm going to try it with the airbrush if I can get the airbrush to kind of because I don't use one of these expensive airbrushes. I don't have an expensive airbrush. I use this yuck here. Okay, cheap as chips, cheap Chinese paintbrush. It's not great for for small detailed work, but I don't really go for the small detailed work with the airbrush anyway. I just use it for sort of a general coating, so therefore that is perfect for what I need. I don't need an expensive one, purely because it would only be a waste of time with me, to be quite honest with you. I'm not that artistic when it comes to that type of stuff. I give it an overall coating, and where my kind of artistic talent would come in would be in the weathering. I just try a few different things, and for some reason it works for me. And it kind of looks realistic. Don't ask me where it comes from. It just works. Okay, the few little things I do, they work. And when I look back at them, it looks realistic, and I'm quite happy with that. So with this one, I'm going to show you how I do all this. If it's the first of my videos you've ever watched, you'll understand what I'm saying. If you haven't, that made no sense, absolutely no sense whatsoever. If you've never watched my videos before, watch this one, you'll see what I'm talking about. If you have, then you know what I'm talking about. That makes more sense. Yeah, that makes more sense. So anyway, I'm going to get this broken down. I'm going to start getting it painted. I'll get the black done first. We'll come back, we'll have a look at it, see how it went, various bits and pieces. We'll do the highlights in the white, then we'll give it the overall colour. Somebody even asked me what colour am I going to use. Probably the NATO green, because this is my usually go to anything that I go for green. The reason I go for the NATO green is I don't then have to have a big full array of paints. I don't have to go buy specific paints for each specific kits, and I don't bother with that, because I'm not entering shows. I'm doing this for me. I want them to look okay. And with the NATO green, it's a military green colour. If you want it darker, give it a dark wash, be it a dark green wash or a dark black wash. That'll darken up the paint for you, so you don't really need to go for the dark green. And it's just an easy all-round overall colour. Okay, so I'll be giving it the NATO green. I'll do the detail painting on it, where you got tracks, tow ropes, tools, there's a jerry can in this, all the little bits and pieces that you're going to, wheels, wheels on this. So all that's got to be done, the detail painting. When all the detail painting is done, then it's on then to starting the weathering. Okay, well, decals and then weathering. So bear with me, watch the video, let me know what you think at the end. We'll start off with the black undercoat. Okay, and everything is black, as you can see here in front of you. Painted the NATO black. Give it a nice decent coat of the NATO black, I must say. Went down very well. I always find that the TAMIYA paints go down well. They really do. This spray lovely. Did the tracks as well. Okay, give them a nice coat of the NATO black. So next step now is the white. Now I won't be using the white on the tracks, so we can put them aside. I will be using the white now on certain panels and little raised parts and things like that. Anything I want to stand out. The pre-shading I use is the black and white technique, as you probably know by now. Andy's hobby headquarters was the first place I saw that being done. Liked the effect. Started playing around with it and got to be able to do it. Does take a couple of attempts, getting it right, and it does come up. It really comes up very, very nice, especially when you're doing the single color, no matter what color it is, obviously. With the dark yellow for German vehicles, or in just plain green. You get to see sort of light and dark patches. You don't have to go off with all this colour modulation. I don't agree with that colour modulation, to be quite honest with you, because it's basically telling you where the shadow is. You're kind of predetermining what angle you're going to look at it from. So I don't really go for the colour modulation. I find that this type of pre-shading works perfect, and everyone to their own. Some people swear by the colour modulation, and I won't say that they're wrong. I'm just saying that it's wrong for me. I don't like it, so it's a personal thing. And you'll find that with lots of little techniques that people use in modelling. None of them are right and none of them are wrong, if you know what I mean. As long as it works for you and you're happy with it, thumbs up, then it's right. Isn't that it? Simple as that. Simple as eating biscuits, as they say. I like the black and white technique. I'm going to go ahead with that. So next step now is I get the white done. We'll come back and we'll have a look at that. Quick discussion again on that. Why I did it, in the places that I did it. Simple, it's just this. I think it's the simplest way of getting a nice tone variation with just the one colour. So I'll go off, I'll get them done, come back, have a look at them, and again the usual bullshit out of me discussing it. Okay. Okay, so now you can see I'm after getting the white down, so the pre-shading is all done now. Right, the black and the white. Just did a little bit along the sides there, not so much, it's not really going to show anyway. And we have the turret. And the trailer. Okay. Now, one little handy tip I did find, because I noticed it now, to say the last couple of times I've done it, actually I've noticed since the first time I've done it really, is that this is the white I use, which is XF2 flat white from TAMIYA. And it's not only me that has noticed this, an awful lot of people have noticed it, that the NATO white is very, easiest way to describe it is spitty. Okay, it's not a fault of the airbrush or anything like that. All the other paints sprayed on lovely, but for some reason the native white sort of tends to be a bit spitty. So what I did was I went over it, did all my pre-shading, and then went back over with a brush, a hairy stick, with the NATO black, and I kind of went over the parts I definitely wanted black. So basically what I did there was I just sort of sprayed white over it, and then went over it with the NATO black on a hairy stick. Did the same then with, you know, some of the panel lines there on the turret and the trailer, and a couple more on the sides as well. So it kind of defined it a little bit better. So the next step now to do is to I'm going to use this XF67 NATO green. Okay, that's going to be my main base colour, shall we say, for it. Because I'll be giving it a dark wash afterwards, so therefore that will darken it up. You know, hence using the NATO green. I explained this many times before. I have a sort of a go-to colours, so I'm not sort of spending money on loads and loads of different colours, and especially with some vehicles and things like that. Just say this one here, without the trailer. Okay, say I bought the normal British tank. Okay, you're not going to use a full bottle of paint on it. Okay, so that means that you're using, say, maybe a quarter of a bottle or a third of a bottle, and then you're putting it up and it's in your stash. You're not going to use it for a good while unless you go back, you know, unless you're doing a lot of, say, British armour. So therefore, you mean you're going to have that dark green in your stash there for quite some time. Whereas if you buy just say, like me, I'm not entering competitions, so I don't really have to be too specific with paint colours. By using the NATO green, that's my green colour, that's the green colour that I use. And if I want it darker, I give it a dark wash. If I want it lighter, I'll just, you know, make sure that it's on a white base and then spray it lightly, so therefore it comes out lighter. So you can get many different variations in different tones within just the one colour. So I'm happy with that. It works for me. Okay, works for me. That's my explanation towards using the NATO green for it. So now I'm going to spray these all NATO green, and we'll come back then, we'll have a look at that, and then we'll be on then to be doing the detail painting and stuff. Okay, so I get them done, we'll come back, and as usual we'll have a look. Okay, so now I'm after getting the green on, and as you can see, you know, it's got tonal variation, dark and light. Very happy with how that turned out. Really am. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's what I want it to look like. Okay, once all the detail painting is done and that, now it'll just make it, dare I say, pop. Okay, I don't like that word, but anyway, loads of little detail painting to get done on these. We've got tracks here on the side, we've got the tow rope, we've got the tools here in the back. We've two shovels, sledgehammer, pickaxe handle. There's a pickaxe head in there, but it's going to be covered over, so we won't really worry too much about that. Okay, we've got the exhaust pipe here. Okay, so that's going to have to be look, rusted up a bit. Great colour I find for rust. If you know, it's a great starter for rust is this stuff here, red brown. Okay, to the red brown, works wonders. On the turret, then we've got with grips. After bending my aerial, we've got the stowage for either side of it there. I don't know whether this is going to be a different colour or not. I'm going to have to start. I'm going to look at a couple of research pictures. That's where I broke it off again. That's the thing. Excuse me. Freaking motorbike outside. Hey, there we go. Social distancing my arse. Anyway, I can reattach that. I'm not really worried too much about it. Aerial anyway, right? The aerial's got to be done. Also, when the whole thing is finished, I'm going to put in here into the little gaps on those. I use glue and glaze, just a tiny little bit on the end of a cocktail stick. Rub it across and it forms a nice little glass panel in there, so I'll do that. That's really about it for the detail painting. Oh yeah, and this thing here, I want to find out if these poles here, what they're made of. If they're supposed to be, say, the same colour as the vehicle or as the trailer itself. What I'll do is I'll change it up a bit. I might paint these olive drab, which is just another green, just to make it, to make it stand out, so everything isn't just the one drab colour. Now, technically you shouldn't do that, but like I said again, this is my model, my kit. I'll do what I want to with it. Do you know what I mean? If I want to paint it blue and yellow, I'll paint it blue and flipping yellow. Not that I'm going to, obviously not. I don't like it to be blue and yellow. But anyway, I digress. So I'm going to get the detail painting done on those parts. Now, for the tracks. For the tracks, I have a very, very simple little thing that I do with tracks. Because I'm not going putting it on a diorama or anything like that, I don't really have to go off and start doing, rust pigments and all that kind of stuff, and getting mud and thick and all this kind of stuff in it. So I just want to get a kind of a rusty colour on them. Now again, back to our red brown. If you give it a light spray over the NATO black, right? NATO black is a base coat, and lightly spray on the red brown, then give it a dry brushing then with silver. It actually works out quite nice. I'm going to move the camera on now to just down to show you what I mean about just by actually painting the tracks rather than using pigments and track wash and all this kind of stuff on it. If we go over here, I'll just bring the camera over to my 1/16 Tiger, whereas I have the tracks on that painted. Okay, and as you can see, that looks like rusty friggin' metal, and you can see there by little bits of dry brushing on it, then it makes them look metallic as well at the same time. So that's my 1/16 Tiger. Huge tractor. That's the only place I have for it. It's right beside me because it's too big for shelves. So anyway, lads, I'll go on. I'll get ahead with. I'll go on and get ahead. I must seriously think before I speak. I'll move on and get the detail painting done. Right, well done, John. You can say that without sort of swallowing a golf ball. Okay, I'll get the detail painting done on those and get the tracks done. Come back then and have a look at them. I'm going to assemble it then, and then it's time for weathering. Actually, no, then it's time for a glass coat and stick it on the decals. And after that, then it's time for weathering. So we still have plenty ahead of us. Get the detail painting done, and I'll come back and we'll discuss that. Okay, so there we have it, painted, and the detail painting is done on it, and the decals are on as well. Now we just have a quick look at that and a quick discussion again as usual. Right, we'll just pop off the trailers so we can move this around. Right, there's the detail painting done. Right, now it is basically, it's factory fresh, it's as it will come out of the factory. Okay, all nice and clean and everything else like that, apart from the little bits of rust on the on our tracks. Okay, they're looking nicely rusty. Really happy with that. Plus, when it comes out of the factory, it would have the front mud guards on. But I digress. Anyway, let's detail painting. What colours did I use? Right, for the tracks, like I said. Okay, you can see the colours on them. They're actually quite nice. Right. Here's one here which I hadn't weathered. These tracks are weathered, as in I've given them a wash, shall we say, and a bit of a dry brushing to get that silver up. used an overspray, a very light spray of red brown. Okay, ordinary red brown from TAMIYA's. All paints I use are TAMIYA, unless I actually specify different. I think there's just two places I use different colours. I used different colour for the wood. On this I used Citadel. Okay, this one here, XV88. Right, it's a base colour. It's a very, very nice colour for wood, as you can see. It really, really is very nice. And also here I used red enamel. Okay, which is basically just it's just a Revel enamel paint, the little tins. Unfortunately, that's it. I know it doesn't look very healthy, but that's it. That's what I used for that. Okay, the shovels, pick the head of the sledgehammer there. They're done in burnt iron. The bags on the side here, or the tarps on the side, olive drab. Dark green I used on the fuel can here, and the two fuel cans there at the back. For the rust colour again then, red brown. That's it, right? The decals that came with this kit, I must admit, basically they did not work. They would not come off the paper. They're not slide off the paper. They were on there for ages, and when I eventually tried to kind of start moving them, they just disintegrated on me. So I had old decals off another Centurion, a Centurion that I did some time ago, did it a couple of years ago. I didn't use all the decals, obviously enough, so I basically salvaged some decals and used them on this. Okay, on the trailer, the detail painting on the trailer, it's just rubber black for the wheels, and dark green then for the these manoeuvring bars. We'll call them manoeuvring bars because basically that's what they are. It's when they're taken off the trailer, these bars are put into here, and it can be sort of manhandled around. Right, and these are stabilizers. Right, when it's not in use again, these things here would attach up here somewhere, and they'd keep that nice and level. Okay, the tank would back up into it, and they're put on, and the stabilizers are taken off and put up here, like stabilizers on a bicycle, except they don't have wheels. Okay, so that's the detail painting done on that. Next step for this now is I'm going to gloss coat it. Gloss coat it and do the bit of weathering on it. Okay, now I just have it assembled there just to make it look nice, and so you can see what it all looks like together in its factory fresh state. But for when I'm gloss coating it, I'm going to take the tracks off again. It's quite easy to do because basically what I did was I haven't glued the top down. Right, comes off quite easy. Pops up at the back, and there we go. So I can pop off those tracks again because we've got the on the back there. They've got those poly caps. Okay, so I can just pop off that whole idler wheel section there. Then I can gloss coat it and do it like that. Now with these springs here, I'm half thinking I might go in here and actually paint them the burnt iron, because they are quite visible and they wouldn't be as nice and green as that. Now I must admit they would be kind of the irony colour. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to get those painted as well while I'm doing all that. So the next time you see it, it'll be gloss coated. These will be all done. I'll do them first, and then I'm going to gloss coat it. We'll come back then. We'll have a look at it, and we'll discuss what I'm going to do regards the weathering. Okay. So bear with me. I'll get them done. We'll come back and have a look. Okay. So the gloss coating is done. Looks like I call it factory fresh, straight out of the factory. apart from the little bit of fading in the colours, but you can't really tell too much with that. So next step now is I'm going to do a small bit of chipping. I'm not going to weather it too much. I'm not going to give it a go overboard on it or anything like that. So I'm just going to do a little bit of chipping on it. I'm going to give it a black wash, which will kind of fall into, you know, certain little layers and things. Give it a bit of a dry brushing and a light coat. I give it coat after I coat it. Dust coat I use the
out, say 8-10 away from models, which are just, you know, spray misting of the buff colour on, you know, it for some weird reason it works, and it gives the nice effect, kind of a dust coat, rather than using pigments. If you don't have pigments and you don't want to go off and buying pigments and things like that, pigments obviously will do a much better job, but you can get just as good a job using that way, without often spending, you know, fortunes on all the little pigments and fixers and all that kind of stuff. I did buy pigments there at one stage. I bought a little packet there with 6 pigments in it. I'm waiting until I see that for sale again, and I'm going to buy that one again. It's much cheaper and easier than buying a load of pigments. Also, another idea for pigments is the pastels, chalk pastels. That works too. I do have some of them there, but this time I'm just going to use the dust coat from the buff colour. So I'm going to continue on now. I'm going to get it weathered. When that's done, we'll come back to it and we'll have a look at it, and it'll be its final reveal, because should be ready, you know.
Okay, so now I'm after finishing it all off. First of all, we had the unboxing. Then I built it, painted it, and now I'm after finishing the weathering. Okay, so now it's time to go finally down to the bench and have a look at how all this turned out. I did a little bit of oil streaking. Again, another attempt at it. I think it came out okay this time. Still not 100%, but I'm getting there. It's all sort of, like everything else, it's all sort of practice. And the more we practice these little techniques that are hard, the better we kind of improve, I suppose. Not always. I mean, there are a couple of times that I've failed miserably on trying different techniques, so I just basically gave them up. But with the streaking, you know, for rust streaks and things, I think I'm getting there. So, without further ado, let's go down to the bench. We'll have the final reveal of the Churchill Crocodile. Okay, so here we go. Churchill Crocodile. Okay, so there it is. About the only way I can seem to kind of get it all in. Excuse me. So I'm going to zoom in a bit, and we'll have a sort of a closer look at different things on it. Okay, so I'm just going to pop off the trailer. Oh, there. Just going to pop off the trailer. We'll have a quick look at the trailer first. I just tried to blow off dust, the dust effect that I'm after putting onto it. I did the dust effect like I said I was going to do. I used buff XF57 TAMIYA buff, and it gives it a kind of a nice dusty look. Okay,
from about a foot away into your airbrush, medium pressure, and just sort of overspray everything, nice slow movements, but far enough away that you're not actually laying down colour, you're just laying down sort of kind of a little dusty look to it. See? Have to excuse the motorbike passing by. Okay, now there's a few little of the little rust streaks and things I got on it. Now, the first time that actually that dust coat looks more speckledy than a nice sort of very, very thin dust coating. It kind of, I don't know what happened to me there. Maybe I went a little bit too close on it, I don't know, but not too bothered with it really. I'm quite happy with how it turned out. Okay, there's the back of the trailer. There's the sides of it again. Okay. Look there at the top. Okay, so that's the trailer with the liquids. Okay, have a look at the vehicle, the tank itself. Again, a couple of rust streaks, not too much. I didn't want it kind of rusting away, shall we say. It's just where little bits of it would have chipped, and when it rained, then you get rust streaks. It's what happens, Not too much, not too little either. Not overly chipped, because I didn't want it overly chipped. For some reason, the crews never really liked this, and when they found out that when the Germans captured anybody that was in the crews of these things, they kind of executed them straight away. So a lot of them dumped the trailer and used it only as a tank, which I suppose is handy that you can do that with this, unlike the say the Sherman. That was a flamethrower Sherman. It used the sort of the main gun section as the flamethrower on them, whereas this here, the flamethrower comes out where the whole machine gun is. So it was quite easy for them to sort of dispense with the whole machine gun, dispense with the trailer, drive it on as it is, and use it as an ordinary tank, because basically that's all it is really. It is an ordinary tank with flamethrower attachment here in the front. But really, really happy with how that came out, colours wise and everything else. Okay. And we'll have a look at an overview of it. Right. Quick look at the back. Again, I'm quite happy with this kit. Marks out of 10. Now on the kit itself, now not on my sort of my painting of it or anything like that, but what I actually thought of the kit, right? The painting is basically it's down to yourself really. But I can give marks on the kit. Okay, I wouldn't go giving marks for myself on my painting or anything like that. I like it. I give it 10 out of 10, obviously for myself. But for the kit itself, what out of 10 would I give the kit? I'd definitely give it a good strong 8, if almost a 9, if not a 9. The fit was absolutely perfect. Very, very enjoyable kit to make. The rubber tracks, they're nicely detailed. They're quite easy to do. Obviously, all you got to do is really paint them. But they went on nicely. They fit nicely. The wheels kind of go into it. I didn't have to glue them into place or anything like that. I mean, they're actually quite loose on that. Just perfect fit all round really. The mouldings were absolutely gorgeous for taking dry brushing and washes and pin washes and all that kind of thing. So, that's why I give it a good 8 out of 10, if not a 9. Okay, so we say 8 3/4. We'll go 8 3/4 for this, on my opinion of this kit as a kit. Okay. there isn't really much more I can say about it, only for the fact that I would recommend it. I recommend it for all levels. There's nothing really complicated in it. It's actually quite a simple build. And it's down to your own level then of painting, whether you do a sort of a super detailed job on the painting, which I'm not exactly. I'm not at that level. I never expressed to be at that level, but I'm happy with what I came up with. Okay, so that's it for the Tamiya's 1/35th scale Churchill Crocodile. Okay, so don't forget, you can leave any comments on the little section below. Let me know what you think of it yourselves. You can either give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. But don't forget, if you do give it a thumbs down, please let me know why. Let me know why you give it a thumbs down. Otherwise, you're just, a troll giving thumbs down to freaking everything. They're everybody has them. Everybody has them. I have them myself. If you find something wrong with it, let me know. If it's something that I can fix or something that I can change, then I will do that. But if you don't like it, tell me why. Tell me why you don't like it. Okay. So don't forget to stay tuned to the channel for further builds. My next build should be up pretty shortly. I'll be doing my usual. Do the unboxing first. Put that up, and then I do the build, painting, and then the final reveal again. Okay, so hit the bell and subscribe. Okay, so I'll see you in the next one, lads. Stay safe, enjoy your modelling, and don't forget, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be happy with it, and that's what makes the difference between, say, a hobby modeler, which what I am, or one of those professional modelers and expert modelers that enter competitions and things like that, and everything has to be perfect. And I'm not at that level. I don't want to be at that level. I'm quite happy to stay at the level that I'm at, and I come up with the results that suit me. Okay, and that's the main thing. I enjoy it a lot. So I'll see you in the next one, lads. Stay safe, and in the meantime, go out and buy yourself a kit, build it, and enjoy it. It's John signing off, and see you soon.